we are so pleased to now present slam poet Dylan Garity. Dylan Garity is the Assistant Director of Button Poetry and a college national poetry slam champion. His poems have been viewed over 2 million times and featured on sites such as Upworthy and the Huffington Post. Please welcome for his performance of his poem, Rigged Game. Dylan Garity, everyone.
How's this mic? Can y'all hear me? All right. No? I'll go up the podium then. Better? Great. First of all, I'd like to thank Francisca and the entire CABE board for having me out here. This is probably the most people I've ever performed for, so this is very exciting to me. As they mentioned, I work with a company called Button Poetry. We produce and promote spoken word media. We publish books nationwide and around the world. If you have any questions or want to learn more about that, look us up online or find me and talk to me afterwards. We're working on making Button Poetry a more multilingual resource through subtitling, running poems in other languages, and a lot of stuff like that, and we're excited to continue moving forward with that. Before I read my poem, I just wanted to give a very brief background. My sister is a 4th grade ELL teacher in a high-poverty suburb of Boston. And depending on the year, there are anywhere between 5 and 10 primary languages, different primary languages spoken in her classroom. And I heard stories from her forever about the work and about the struggles she would be facing with the educational system there, and decided I wanted to write about it because as a writer, I believe that it's important to share our stories and the stories of those close to us and to make sure we're doing it respectfully. So this poem is for my sister and for her students. Every day when I was 5, my older sister would play teacher. Her students were me, my stuffed rabbit, and an American Girl doll. She'd line us up at the end of the bed and teach us whatever she'd learned in school that day. Now, she teaches ELL at an elementary school in Boston, and every week she tells me stories about her students. Anna does not know how to read in Spanish, much less English, but she still wants to be a writer when she grows up. Juan chooses to stay inside and study at recess so that one day he'll be able to teach his own brother. These kids are good organs in a sick body. In 2001, No Child Left Behind gutted bilingual education. Students in Massachusetts who have been in the country for 1 year are now expected to perform at grade level on standardized English tests. My sister is not allowed to instruct them in Spanish. If the kids don't jump high enough, the school loses money. Improving a school by picking its pockets is like tuning a guitar by ripping off the strings. Learning to read in a new language when you cannot even read in your own is like learning to walk while a pit bull is chasing you. Like learning to sing with the conductor's fist down your throat. This year for my sister's birthday, I got books for her students. A poem on one page in Spanish, the next in English. She is not allowed to help them read the first. Their heritage is a banned book. Learning to read in a new language when you cannot even read in your own is like trying to heal a burn victim by drowning them. We are telling these children who have spent their whole lives in the deep end that they'll learn how to swim if they just float out a little further. In the 1980s, American slaughterhouses began building corrals in curves so no animals could see the blood at the end of the tracks. This is how we kept them moving forward. In 2001, we began building the hallways of our schools in curves. This is how we keep them moving forward. You never learn, you fail the test. You never learn, you fail the test. You never learn, you drop out. I know I am lucky enough to be one of the winners of this game. I was handed a head start and a rule book in my own tongue, but the winners of a rigged game should not get to write the rules. On the television, some senator preaches that throwing money at an urban school is like feeding caviar to your dog. They just won't know how to appreciate it. After all, if these parents can't take care of their own children, why should we? Well, tell that to Anna, who has my sister translate newsletters aloud to her father because he too was never taught how to read. Tell that to Juan, whose mother and baby brother are still in Guatemala, whose father works 3 jobs. My sister tells me school is the most stable place in these kids' lives. She has been a teacher since she was smaller than they are. But since when does being a teacher mean having to swear not to help? Since when does being a teacher mean having your hands tied while the schoolhouse burns to the ground? We are leading these children along a track built in circles as their lungs fill with smoke, telling them it is their fault. They can't find a way out. Thank you.